All right, we're on page 4 of the packet. We're going to do some motion examples. So I got my 4 motion equations over here. And I also went ahead right away and I wrote down my list of variables because I was going to do a 1D motion problem. So let's go ahead. We'll read the question. We'll see if we can identify some of this information, pick an equation, solve. That's going to be our pattern, okay? So blackout. A jet fighter pilot wishes to accelerate from rest at 5 Gs to reach Mach 3, 3 times the speed of sound, as quickly as possible. Experimental tests reveal that he will black out if the acceleration lasts for more than 5 seconds. Use 331 meters per second for the speed of sound. Question A. Will the period of acceleration last long enough to cause him to black out? And part B. What is the greatest speed he can reach with the acceleration of 5G before blacking out? Okay, so that's ambitious. You want to go right on the edge of blacking out when you're taking a fighter jet out? Okay, I'm not going to judge you. I'm just going to say that's ambitious. All right, so our fighter jet pilot is starting at rest. Starting at rest. They're telling me information. So starting from rest is telling me the initial velocity is 0 meters per second. That starts from rest. All right, what else did they tell me? Oh, they told me the acceleration was 5 Gs. Okay, and they wanted to reach, what was it, Mach 3. Okay, so Mach 3, which was 3 times the speed of sound. So that is going to be 3 times whatever the speed of sound is, which they told me was 331 meters per second. So I get 993 meters per second. Now why did I change it from Mach 3 to 993 meters per second? The reason is I want to have units that go together. So for instance, 0 meters per second, Mach 3 and 5G, they don't have common units. So what I have to do is I have to get them to have common units. So 5G, or 5 times the acceleration of gravity, which here on Earth is 9.8. So 5 times 9.8 gives me 49 meters per second squared. You are pinned to that seat as that jet is accelerating at that kind of acceleration. That is intense. To think about this, if you were to stand there, and so for instance, Mr. Foster, 200 pounds, if I was under 5 Gs, I would weigh 1,000 pounds. Okay, and so that seat that I'm usually sitting on might be able to handle 200 pounds. It better hold 1,000. Okay, so next it's asking me, what about that 5 seconds? Is that the time? The 5 seconds? They black out in 5 seconds. No, they want to know, will the period of acceleration last long enough? So what they're asking me to do is figure out that time and then compare it with 5 seconds. Meaning, if the time takes 7 seconds, our pilot blacked out, they didn't make it, over. If it takes 4 seconds, hey, they made it to that speed without blacking out, success. So let's go ahead and figure this out. Now, did they tell me where the jet starts? They give me a position initially? No. So if they don't give you an initial position, you get to choose 0, right? All right, so I'm going to find time. The other unknown is x, so I want to pick an equation that has no x. So which equation has no x over here? Well, let's see. The first one has no x. The second one has no v. The third one has no t. And the fourth one has no a. Okay. So we are looking at equation number 1. So I go, okay, so v equals v naught plus at, crossing out that 0, so it starts at rest. And the last thing I need to do is solve for t. So I have v is equal to at, divide the a over, so I have v divided by a equals t, or velocity, which was 993, divided by 49 will give me a time. Now, I need type it in, just for fun. Type that one in. It comes out to be, what, 20.3 seconds. They didn't make it. They weren't even close. So part B acknowledges that. Part B says, well, how fast could they have gone? Okay, so now we're going, all right, well, what's the best we can do in 5 seconds? All right, so the best I can do in 5 seconds. All right, so I'm not going to hit Mach 3, that's for sure. So I'm going to relist my variables. identify my information so they don't tell me where it starts. X equals 0. They tell me it starts at rest. Yep. V naught is 0. The acceleration, still 5 g's, but now I'm only going for a time period of 5 seconds. We want to get them just to blackout, but not blackout, I guess, here. So we're trying to find V final. Again, I'm going to pick an equation without X. That's equation number 1, just like I had. So I do kind of the same process again. I write it out. There is no initial velocity, cross it out, and start solving. Now I don't have to solve much. I just plug in my numbers. So I have 49 times the time of 5 seconds. So I end up with a final velocity of 245 meters per second. Didn't even make it to Mach 1, not impressive at all, but still pretty fast. So there you go. That's our example. Again, let's think about that process. List our variables, identify our variables, see which ones are we looking for, which ones we don't care about, pick an equation, solve.